Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And it's the Hump Day Happy Hour Salute, and we'll tell you about that in a minute. But first, we want to let him introduce himself. We have a special guest tonight. Very, very exciting moment here in our history. Take it away, special guest.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Bryan Goodman. I'm known as Mr. Bigfoot. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, we got a bit of echo on your end.
I know. That's what I'm not sure why. Maybe that'll do it. Is that better?
I see you're a Patriots fan. I'm an anti-Bills fan, so good job.
So anyway, I'm Bryan Goodman. I've been around for a long time. I'm known as Mr. Bigfoot on eBay, and I did have a television show on Spike TV about 10 years ago called Thrift Hunters.
Cool.
And we had 2 seasons of that. And we went around the country buying stuff and flipping it online, mostly on eBay.
Nice.
And that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of hard work. But I have also had a career. I was in the used office furniture business for a few decades. I was also worked for a car dealership for 7 or 8 years. Started in sales, was voted most likely not to make it past the trial period. And I ended up being a manager when everybody else was gone. So
nice.
And then the car crash, not the physical car crash, but back in 2008, when everything just bottomed out. I was without a job, or I could have stayed and made no money. So, and that's when I decided to pursue doing eBay full time, and which I've been doing. I mean, I've been doing eBay since '98, so it's been a while.
Cool.
I think the biggest question everybody wants to know is, now when you were on TV, of course, you had to wear the makeup. Did you wear the makeup tonight so the camera?
No, I didn't. I'm sort of growing a beard because it's getting cold here in Boston. But the only time I had to really wear makeup doing the show was when we did the opening scene. We filmed the opening stuff, which was done at the Las Vegas Neon Museum.
Oh, wow.
And it was very expensive to, we had a truck come in with all sorts of lights and had makeup artists and all that stuff. And I think the only other time I can remember having to wear makeup was a couple of photo shoots where, publicity stuff.
Yeah, right.
But during the show, no, there was no makeup. I mean, there was, there were these continuity type of things where you had to make sure that you were wearing the same type of clothing for whatever scene or whatever.
Okay, nice.
And you couldn't wear, I couldn't wear shirts that had
logos,
name brand stuff on them, logos and stuff. But no makeup all the time.
Gotcha.
We for the Hump Day Happy Hour, we actually enjoyed Adirondack Rye, and this was the first time Mr. Magazine ever had a reversal while drinking. And let's say I was laughing at him for a while.
I tried to gulp it. It's been a while since we've had it. I didn't know how strong it was, but yeah. Well, I'm fasting, so maybe it was meant to be.
There you go. Now we're going to say hi to a few people here. Super Cedar Lights, thank you for being a member.
How's it going? Jackass Retro?
Oh, Jackass Retro. And I don't think I'm telling any tales out of school over here. Mr. Bigfoot is a fan of yours and used to watch your show religiously and is pretty excited about you coming back. 100% true. We were talking about that beforehand.
Yeah, Matt knows me.
There you go. Said he loved the sound of tape. Loved the smell of tape in the morning. I think that's what he said.
Yes, very good.
So Matt is right over Sunday 4 p.m. Pacific time. So make sure you stop out.
Another shameless plug. That's all.
I tell you, we got to rent the space out over here. And
Triple F's in the house. How's it going?
National Fossil Day. There we are, and we've got a couple of fossils here on this end.
Absolutely.
Dave being a member.
Speak for yourself.
We're the show. So, there. Thank you, Jack. Jack is stealing my joke.
Lovely's always here. How's it going?
Ciao. And thank you for being a member.
Marvelous, Mike.
And Michael was down at Allentown. I don't know if you saw him or not, but he was down at Allentown Saturday morning. So another guy that gets down there as well.
Awesome Antiquarian.
Thank you for being a member.
Awesome, Aaron. How's it going, buddy? Delightful Don's in the
Don's
house.
finally here. Thank you for being a member.
Twice. Dandy Diane, how's it going? Oh, right. Well,
I don't know about yummy. I don't know about yummy on that
yes,
one there.
Yes, exactly.
Reversal. Exactly. Ryan Ginger, there you are.
Okay, nice.
Mr. Bigfoot is the best business card that has a ruler. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've got a copy of it right over there.
Yeah. Always thinking.
I don't know what size the business card is, but Paperboy said it's a big one.
Yeah.
It's a foot long. Yep. Oh, there you go. Look at Jack. He's making demands here and everything.
Nice.
I'll tell you, I think he runs the show. All right. So we start the show off always asking how sales are. And if our guest could take it away, how are your sales going?
My sales have actually been good. The weekend was surprisingly good.
Now, where do you sell at?
I sell mostly on eBay, but also on Amazon. I do books through FBA. I don't merchant fill books. I merch fill a few other things, but mostly ship books in. I try to do it weekly, but weekly is probably spelled WEAK.
Hey, I see what you did there.
But I probably send in 300-400 books a month. I just don't like lifting those heavy boxes. But I also like it. It gives me another way to process and get stuff out the door. So that's the reason that I do that. And that works out pretty well. But a lot of times there's one reason or another that the book won't sell on Amazon. There may be an issue that I'd like to have a photograph on. And let's face it, when you're selling a book on Amazon, everybody's looking at the main picture. They're not looking at one you do. So that'll get on eBay. And sometimes it's when I'm out looking for books, I find stuff that I know I'm going to put on eBay that may be unique in one way or another. And sometimes if a book is too big or too expensive, I don't want to send it into Amazon. I'll give you an example. I sold a book on Sunday for $150 on eBay.
Nice.
But I probably paid $5-6 for
right.
it. But it was a big fashion art book or whatever. I was almost going to send it. I said, no, I'll do this one myself. It took maybe 3, 4, 5 months, but
yeah,
and I had a lot of interest in it. Then all of a sudden, somebody buys it at full price. So who am I to complain?
Always nice. Always nice.
Cool.
Yeah. And sometimes it's a strategic thing where the price on Amazon may be better, or that I'll send it there, or there's a lot of nuance in trying to decide stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And we just did a video behind our paywall talking about that as well, about diversity and how knowing what to put on Etsy versus what to put on eBay versus what to put on Amazon versus what to put. And a lot goes into it. Now, from time to time, you wind up with a situation where you end up with 5 copies of something. Well, that's a real easy one. You put one everywhere. But otherwise, you take a look and you go, yeah, this is better suited for whatnot. This is better suited for eBay. This is better suited for, because years of experience, this is going to sell better at this venue.
Exactly. And, over the years, as using my experience, it makes it easier to buy stuff, which is good and bad in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Because when I go to the thrift stores looking for books, primarily, you'll see something out of the corner of your eye. Oh, I could sell this, I could sell that. And you start having this SOS, shiny object syndrome.
I'm going to steal that.
I just thought of that today. So where you see something, and even though you might make $10, $20, $30 on it, you don't realize, oh, I got to photograph this. I got to do this. It's harder to ship. It's whatever it is. So you're oftentimes, with more experience, you're better off not being an everyman, but trying to narrow the path that you're on and try to stay on a couple of paths that don't distract you, because it can kill your time.
Well, yes and no. And where I disagree with you is, yes, if it's difficult to ship, absolutely, I 100% agree with you. But if it's something that's outside of my normal niche, but it's a $20 bill just sitting there, it's hard to walk by that $20 bill just sitting there.
I know. And I'll tell you a little secret. In the last few months, I've been playing with AI.
Okay.
And most people think of it more as like a listing tool or assistant or something. I've not had any lessons. I've not gone to any seminar. I've not looked at anything, just playing with it myself. And I haven't even touched on what it can do. But I'll give you an example. What I thought of one day when I was out. Oh, I could take a picture of something, unlike Google Lens, which kind of pulls up, if it finds stuff. And I think when I first did it, I saw some sort of pewter mug. Now, I'm not into that type of stuff, but it was something, as I was walking by, caught my eye. There was like an emblem on it, took a picture of it. In seconds, it just gave me all this information and told me it's probably worth $65 to $75 or whatever. I'm like, okay, well, I'll pay the $3 for this piece of whatever. And sure enough, I think I sold for like $60, $65, somewhere in that range, and pretty quick too. But the real key that I found when I'm dealing with some other odds and ends in doing that particular strategy is that I have AI, or in my case, I use ChatGPT. I have it create the eBay title and description. And when I get home, all I have to do is go to my computer, just copy and paste, and I've got everything done. I've got the listing done. So I was really a dead set against AI when eBay started. When eBay started to incorporate it into the description, and I said, "Oh, let me try this," and it was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Everything it said was superfluous. It was like
it's almost like a kid that's told he has to do 100-page or 100-word report. It's very, very nice.
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't always. I'm like, this is useless. I think I did it on a few things and gave up. But then I think I saw somebody using it. I said, well, let me try it. So that's been a big help. Not that I stray too far from when I'm out to trying to get books.
But it's a free $20 bill or $60 at that point. Yeah,
exactly. So, and it also helps, and I'm not using it, constantly, but if something does appeal to me, it'll tell you it's worth, $10 or $50. Like, yeah, I'm not even going to bother. So that's helped. But over the last couple of months, using it for listing, the ChatGPT has been amazing.
Really?
Because I'll go in, scan. You can do 10 pictures at a time. So I'll scan 5 postcards. Front and the back will go into Chat GPT, and I'll say, give me an eBay title and description. And sometimes I'll say a value or whatever. And in seconds, it just comes up with it. And the problem is you cannot rely on it 100%. I get into, lack of a better term, I get into arguments with it where it'll, misidentify. When I first started using it, I had a picture of Superman with, now I'm forgetting, Neil, and it misidentified her as, I can't think of the other, Lois Lane. So it misidentified. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, wait a minute, that's not right. And I told, I'm so sorry. You're right. You're right. So.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
So and then also when you look at the titles and descriptions, it doesn't always do it the way you want it or includes it. So sometimes I say, redo it this way or change this. Or some things I just tweak myself, taking out some of the stuff that it includes in the description. But overall, it's amazing because it takes all the information and puts it in there. But you just have to be careful that it doesn't
make stuff up.
Right.
Oh, and we were speaking before the show about Popeye's postcards, and there he is. Howdy, gentlemen. You just said howdy, gentlemen, and Bryan. So you can take that however you would like.
Terrible.
A horrible thing over here. He's coming on and insulting our guest. Terrible. Donald Peterson asks, is the AI you're using producing realistic valuations or the highly inflated values of some of the unsold listings?
It's a good question.
I'm going to say both. And again, yeah. As far as the valuations, I just sort of use it as a guideline. I don't use it as gospel. And it's most of the time I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to sell something for anyway.
Right.
So it's just a question of, sometimes it'll tell me, the range on this is like $7 to $14. And I know I'm going to list it for $19.99 anyway. It may end up selling for that, but so it's mostly a good way to gauge and compare stuff. And one of the things that I wanted to just mention, and then we can get off AI. I had a friend.
Hold on. We all love the robot overlords. I wanted to mention that, but go ahead.
Yeah, just in case. So about a year or so ago, a friend of mine was cleaning out his house, and he wasn't going to use his cassettes anymore. He said, "Can you sell them?" Yeah, I can sell. So I don't remember how many, but it's like 300 cassettes. And I took them and I stuck them away. That's a project for another day. And my plan was to probably do an auction for all of them. I think it was maybe 200 to 300. I forget, but it was a lot, about 300. And today I had the idea after I was moving some stuff around and said, I have these cassettes. I said, AI. So I don't know if you can see this, but I put them in a box, like a postcard box.
Right.
Laid them out and said, can you give me a list of all these cassettes and count them for me?
Wow.
I'm telling you, 5 seconds later, I had the whole list with, I think it was 29 or whatever. They counted it out. And then it said, do you want me to put them in genres and this and that? No, this is a project for November I'm going to do. But it's like, I was just amazed because now I can put all of that in my listing in seconds. I don't have to sit there and try to group things.
Yeah.
So you just have to kind of think outside the realms of what people are using AI for. And it's really become a great assistant for me.
So you just took a picture of it and sent it to AI, and it listed all the titles for you.
Yep.
Wow.
And I'd forgotten when I was first playing with the thrift store, I had taken a picture of either DVD. I might have done both, DVDs and CDs, and said, "Is there anything valuable in here?" And it picked out a couple of things, but that's what made me think, "Oh, I could do that for the stuff I've got." But you can use it for a number of different things. You just have to get creative. And again, I have no formal training. You know, I'll give you a good idea about me. I used to be an early adopter of any sort of technology. And when I was a kid in high school, I worked at the department store Caldor. I don't know if you remember Caldor.
Oh yeah, we had Caldor up there. Yeah.
So I was working in the photo department, but VHS tape machines had just come out. I was drooling to get a VHS machine, and there was, I think it was an RCA machine, and I said to my friend, "It's only $750. They'll never be any cheaper." So that's how I first got, had my first VHS machine. But it was, technology gets harder and harder as you get older and older. You're more resistant to change, and I just try to have an open mind about stuff.
Well, a couple of quick things here. He was asking AI program you use. I think you said ChatGPT.
Yes.
Yep.
I pay for it. I pay $20 a month. I don't know if that's necessary if you only have a small amount of things you're doing, but I'm using it, or I intend to use it almost constantly. So.
Well, I would say we're not resistant to change, but I would say that it's one of those things that if what we have is working for us, we don't see the need for change, if that makes sense.
Yeah. 100%. I feel the same way about a lot of stuff. Every time I look into stuff like cross listing or other things, I'm like, do I really want to get involved with something else I have to maintain and watch and so on? And but this was this for $20 a month. I can't hire an assistant for $20.
No. Yeah, just for the time it saved you on those cassettes alone.
Yeah.
Let alone, yep. And that's one thing too, talking about being resistant to change, et cetera, et cetera. Ran a neighborhood kid who's 21. He does, he helps me out all the time on various tech things like that. He gets so upset with me because when I cut and paste, do whatever, I'm right clicking on the mouse. And he's like, "You can just use the keyboard shortcut. You can't." I go, "Sure, I can. I can also click this button here and click copy. And this works for me." And he doesn't understand. And he's saying, "But you could save time." I go, "No, I can't save time doing that. I know that it's a backup if my mouse is out, but otherwise it's the way that I do it. I'm comfortable with. I'm not going to change just for change's sake."
And that's typically the way I do it too. However, I do the shortcuts on the keyboard when I come to there's a particular website that sells postcards that doesn't let you right click.
Oh, well, yeah.
But if I use the shortcuts, I can still copy and paste it that way.
Yep.
And still get the same information. So, there are workarounds for almost anything.
So real quick, Mr. Magazine, how are your sales going?
Mainly average. Shopify's average. DVD sites average. Amazon. Sometimes I get good days there. But eBay's one that's killing it right now. And again, we're listing a lot of better stuff, hard to find stuff, Star Wars figures, autographs, and so forth. So I think our sales are up 33% over the last month, which is where it should be, where it was 6, 8, 10 months ago. And hopefully we can keep the trend going into the holiday season. Whatnot is almost non-existent. However, we're going to do away with records on Whatnot for the time being, maybe through the end of the year, because I'm just not making money on them. And we're going to try 6-hour comic shows on the weekend. So
wow.
I want to start finding comics all over the warehouse, all over the shop. We got the comic shop. We've had those comics there for years. And I feel like even if we're selling average comics, it's still going to generate more money than the records at this point. So we're going to test that out. And how about you, of course?
Oh, I'm glad you asked me. I would say it's been a roller coaster. Today has not been a good day on eBay. Yesterday was good. But there's somebody or other whose sales that I watch, they sell the same type of thing I do. They sold 66 items in a prior week, which is good for them. But they had one day with 1 item sold and one day with 3 items sold. So they've sold 62 items over the other 5 days. So people are doing 17 items in a day and then 1 item.
Crazy.
12 items in a day and then 4 items. I have never seen a roller coaster like that before. And that's how eBay's been the last 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
How was your Saturday? Yeah, the Saturday I was gone was horrible. And everything else around that Saturday, 5 days before and after were great.
Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Jazzy Jeff's in the house. How's it going?
How about buys? I saw you over at Allentown, and I think you tried to. I think you tried to get me to carry stuff out to your car about 3 different times.
I bought a lot of stuff in Allentown. I'll give you an example of a couple of things. I haven't, and this was something I bought for a lot of money and didn't research. I still haven't researched it because I just pulled it out of the box because I thought of it to do the show. But this was I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, yeah.
It's Bela Lugosi, and it's supposedly signed by his wife. And I bought it from a reputable dealer who told me that.
Cool.
And he had it marked 150. I did get a sizable discount, but it still was a lot of money. Speaking of signed stuff, and I'm not an expert on signed stuff, but I do like it when I find things that I think are real. This was another signed item. I don't know if you can see that.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's John Candy. And I just watched, there's a documentary about him called I Like Me that just came out. And so problem is, do I send this in to be authenticated? If it's authenticated, it could be worth, $400, $500, $600, maybe more. I mean, I saw something that went for over $1,000. I don't know, but I've never sent things in to be authenticated before.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that because I actually have a note down here, and we did not prepare this beforehand. We were going to get to this in a different spot, but we'll do it now as you're talking about authenticated.
Sure.
The two of you, I want you two to guess. JSA, the most authenticated autograph with 25,301 items having been authenticated. Who is the most authenticated autograph? Our guest can guess first, and Mr. Magazine can guess.
Mickey Mantle.
Okay. And you, Mr. Magazine?
Pete Rose.
Taylor Swift.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
25,301.
Does she sign that much? Like legitimately sign for a lot of people? Because she doesn't do shows. Not like these guys do shows, these athletes, every weekend. She doesn't do shows, and she's not out there. You could
buy signed stuff off her website and all that stuff too. Yeah, 25,301, the most authenticated person.
Wow. That's amazing.
There we are.
So
go ahead.
So I was going to show you another item that was signed, and I am pretty sure this is legit, but I have a problem, and I'll explain that after I show it to you. It's Dolly Parton.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah.
It's signed over here, whatever, but it's part of a magazine, and it was like a show program, I should say, of when she was with Porter Wagner. So he signed it on one page, and it's come apart. and she signed it, and I think one or two other people who were in the show signed it. That's what makes me think it's legit, is the way the insignificant signatures are on there. Yeah. So I don't know if I send it in and have it all done or just her done or whatever, but it's,
I mean, they're really tough on celebrity signatures. I've done tons of them, and they're very tough on it. So even if there's anything slightly different, she could have tripped while she's signing it, or someone knows the arm. They're not going to sign off on it. And I don't know if they'll just authenticate one out of everything. They might have to do a package deal where if there's 5 signatures, you got to pay for the 5.
Right. Yeah. So that's something for me to consider.
Yeah.
How about you, Mr. Magazine? Have you been buying? I'm sure you haven't been buying anything. You've got a whole warehouse full of unlisted stuff. I'm trying to
stop. I want to save money. My account's getting low, but people just keep calling me with these deals. But the one that stands out right now is I just bought the contents of an old video shop. So all the adult items, and I got to cherry pick the non-adult items. But they're from the 80s. They had 1980s movies and magazines and VHS and beta and DVDs. I was getting movie posters. I was getting the standees box and so forth. I even got the Ghostbuster original standee for my son. And it's spent a lot of money, but I end up so far I've picked up maybe 7,000 pieces from them.
Wow.
We had to take a crew with a truck because the VHS were in the rental boxes, but they had the original separated. But they take up a lot of room. But I got some cool Star Wars stuff for my collection. But I am going back there to find more. So I got a whole box full of all kinds of stuff. And what's really cool is I found, the open close signs they used to have back in the day where you slide it.
Yeah.
1978 Star Wars one.
Oh.
Yoda or not? No, I'm sorry. It had to been in the early 80s. Empire Strikes Back. Yoda on one side, Vader on the other. Got to be $100, right? I mean, I've never seen one before, but cool stuff like that. Then today I just bought a bunch of autograph stuff for that holiday show we're doing. I got the item of the day here that I show you. I just bought it a few hours ago. Paperboy got me in touch with someone that's 45 minutes away in New York from another collection that Aaron's going to in a couple weeks to pick up 2,000-3,000 items. But anyways, it's a 6-figure collection. We're going to work on that: sports, collectibles, memorabilia, ephemera, and all that jazz. So I'm keeping busy and keeping broke. And I know you got some stuff in the works.
Yep. So have you ever tried or have you ever checked out Whatnot?
Pop, I could tell you I bought a lot of stuff from him on Whatnot until I couldn't watch anymore. It's so addictive. I don't want to say I have a death pile. I'm just going to say I have oversourced. It's a more polite way to say it.
Absolutely.
But and he told me, I think it was 3 years ago, we went to dinner. He told me to do it. And I just haven't done it yet. And I think it's great, but one of the things that holds me back is not doing an hour show or two, whatever it is. It's getting prepared to put everything together to do it. And, I figure for every hour on the air, I probably have to spend 2-3 hours prepping to have the right stuff, at least once I start doing it.
When you start doing it, you may, after you're into it, it takes much less time to get it ready.
Right. And then there's also the going back to not wanting to change what you're doing, not so much in terms of the venue, but
live auction is a different.
I don't want to sell that box of postcards for $50 when I could probably get $500 out of it myself when I'm cherry picking it. Yeah. So that's one of the hard things to break away from. And of course, I have enough inventory that probably could last me till I'm 100 years old. And I'm not, I don't know. It's just, it goes back to like what Mr. Magazine was saying about getting, I don't necessarily get calls, but I have all these opportunities, whether it's at shows. And one of the things that I did switch somewhat over the last couple of years is instead of buying huge lots all the time, which I've done, I do go to the shows with cherry picking in mind. Okay. I don't mind spending $100 on something if I'm going to make $200 on an individual item, or more. But it's more likely that I spend $10 to $20 to make 60 or 75. That's more the range. But I think not this time in Allentown, but the time before. At the end of the afternoon, I went over to somebody who had like long postcards and 4 or 5 boxes of them, and some other stuff that most people don't even look at. I think I paid like $12.50 a box, and I probably sold a couple of cards and made that up, and still have all the inventory.
Yeah, right.
That's the problem, is that I get stuff back from a show, and it's like, well, let me make the money back right away, and then I'll get to it. I'll get to the rest of it. So I probably have 50,000 cards.
Yep. So we had a question here about, I have an Elvis signed 45 sleeve. What's the best place to sell outside of eBay? It's worth about $100.
I can't believe it's only worth 100. I mean, if it looks legit, I would certainly get it, authenticated. You could probably get 5 to 10 times it, I'm guessing. But outside of eBay, that's a tough one. I wouldn't know where to get good money on that.
eBay is probably your best bet. But I would, if you want to get 100 out of it, put it up with best offer at somewhere between 300 and 500. And if it's something that somebody wants, I mean,
100 sounds cheap. And if it
was, I'd have to do some research on it. But that's something that you could probably, without a subscription, take a picture and chat GPT and see what it says in terms of the value.
Oh, that's funny. Now you mention it. So my younger son's into the AI, and that collection I just bought a few hours ago had a Hulk Hogan signed picture. Now, it's a good friend of mine. I've known him for years. He's just getting older and he wants to get out of it. But my son loves Hulk Hogan, and it was a signed photo, and he had it priced, months and months before he died. He had like $25 on it. So I gave him 20. Well, it was dim. It was in his garage. It was dimly lit. And my son's like, this can't be real. I go, why wouldn't it be real? So he did the chat. GPT. And somehow it knew that it was a photocopy the way the ink was. And I took it out of the sleeve, and it really was like a facsimulated copy of a signed photo. But at the time, homemade good on it and stuff. But it's funny how it knew that. So maybe throw that Elvis in ChatGPT, because I've had a bunch of fake Elvises. I had a big autographed collection with a lot of records and so forth, and everything was real Johnny Cash, but all the Elvises were bad. And we kind of knew that going into it when I met with JSA. But I would just be careful and maybe try that with ChatGPT first, because if it is legit, it's worth paying to get it authenticated.
The reason I was asking about Whatnot is I'm on a number of trains, and one of the trains I'm on was Faith Femera, which is a half-hour train, all religious theme. So I'm like, okay, I got to find some stuff for it. And you were talking about how long it takes to prepare. Well, this train is about a month out. So I've got a month to get religious stuff together for it. So I said, church sale, absolutely perfect place to go. And I don't know if you go to church sales or not, but church sales always have that little table over there that have the crucifix and all those little trinkets that come in. But this was the first church sale I've ever been to that doesn't have that. I'm going, now that I need stuff, it's not there. So the next day I go to an estate sale. They've got tons of religious pamphlets there. I said, well, there we go. There's my stuff for it. So I was paying 50 cents each on it. But that's the beauty of being on the trains or when you do your whatnots. If you prepare enough in advance, you know what kind of things you need to source. And we've all been doing it long enough that we can go into it and source. And like if I told you, Mr. Bigfoot, a month and a half from now, we need you to have 50 cookbook / recipe booklets, and you're going to be selling them at $3 each. A month and a half from now, you've got 50 recipe cookbooklets because we know how to do it.
Yeah, it's not something I would typically do, but yes, I could do that. Yeah, that's
absolutely. I did go down to the Bath Antique Show, Bath, New York. Didn't end up buying anything there, but I did give all my information. I'm going to be setting up there. Now, do you ever set up at any shows?
Years ago, before the internet, I I used to do record shows.
Oh,
cool.
All throughout New England and occasionally outside of New England. I remember one time coming from Boston to Albany during a snowstorm, driving up the Mass Pike, and I get there and there was hardly anybody there. I set up for maybe an hour. I don't think I made $2 and drove all the way back. But then there were other shows where you'd make thousands of dollars. I used to set up religiously at the Boston record show at the time. It was held by Randolph Music. The guy who started it passed away, but they still go on, and they have a show not in Boston but outside of Boston. They do once or twice a year. That's coming up. But I used to have 3 tables at that show, and used to sell not only records but postcards and not postcards, posters.
Oh, okay.
And music-related magazines, and used to do very well. And I used to set up next to, I don't know if you know who Gary Summers is. Gary Summers was on Antique Roadshow.
Oh, okay.
And he's got crazy hair. He looks like a hippie twice my age, but no, he's roughly my age. And he sets up at Brimfield, and he runs his own shows, mostly pop culture type of things. So we've been friends for 40 plus years, I guess. I don't even know what I'm thinking, but yeah. So I would be set up next to him, and there used to be occasionally you'd have a celebrity come through, and buy stuff from you or what have you. But it was a really jam-packed show, and that's when records were really cool. I do remember a funny thing that happened prepping for a show. It was down in Washington, D.C., and I think I was driving overnight to get to the show. I was younger. I could do a whole back then. But when I left the place where the stuff was stored, I was using a hand truck. As I'm pulling it out, I smashed the glass door as I was leaving. I think I cracked it. I don't know. But
yeah.
Get to Washington, D.C., bring the stuff into the hotel. I did the same thing at the hotel. It was not a happy day. But yeah, that's but the shows were great, especially one of the things that still happens at postcard shows and other types of shows is you get to know certain customers who like to buy from you. So then you start sourcing with them in mind.
Sure.
Back then, I had a customer that used to like James Dean stuff, so I'd always be on the lookout for that. I had another customer that was always looking for monkey stuff. And, so those types of things will help drive you. And one of the nice things that I used to do back then was, after carrying the records to 3, 4, or 5 shows and they hadn't sold, I would take them and go to, there were plenty of record stores in Boston. And I go from store to store and peddle it and get credit to buy more stuff. And it was a thing. It was fun. And, but I have not, I've toyed with doing postcard shows. I may do Allentown. It's something I'm considering, and I'm starting to look at some stuff that I have besides postcards that I would do postcards, but I'm thinking bigger picture. Like, for example, we were talking about opportunities to buy stuff. There was an online auction that ended last week that was close enough to me that I could go pick up the stuff that I want, even though people from all over were bidding on it. It was all Laurel and Hardy merchandise. I don't know if you can see my Laurel Hardy shirt I'm wearing today. That's not from the auction, but I did get a huge amount of stuff, all Laurel and Hardy connected. But there's like some posters I bought that might do better at Allentown. They were foreign posters. I just have to maybe take the time and put them in the cardboard and shrink wrap them so they're presentable might be a way to sell those, or at least be an attraction.
Yeah, you don't want to ship those.
So many other things. But again, shows take a lot of time. And it's like, okay, do I spend 10 hours today working on prepping for a show, or do I spend 10 hours watching $1 Million Peddlers on YouTube and Popeye on YouTube and Jackass Retro on YouTube, you know, and also spend that time listing stuff, you know? And that's the, you know, the one thing, I know most of the people here are involved some way, but one of the things about doing this, selling ephemera, postcards, and so magazines, it's not a you list it sells. I mean, that does occasionally happen. So I know when I'm listing something today, it might not sell for 3-4 years.
Yep.
But when you own something for pennies and it's worth $10, $20, whatever, who cares if it takes that long?
Yep.
And it's amazing how often I get sales and I go, oh, I listed that in 2022. I don't know if I have anything from 2002. I might.
Well, if it helps you any, we're very open about our numbers. And at Allentown, I sold $2,600, give or take, and $2,250 of that was to dealers. So crazy. It's pretty heavy sales to deal. It's a lot of dealer to dealer buying, and I spent $1,200 at Allentown. So you know, and I know I'm on the low end of dealers spending money. So a lot of dealers go there and just buy from each other. It's a lot of the money change, which is great because, you know, again, I don't know if you know Jason Vintage View. He's going to be on the show at some point, but I picked some stuff up for him. And basically I sold it to him and he sold me some stuff as well. It was kind of a trade is what it was. But, you know, dealers all know who's going to be there. So we source for each other throughout the year as well, which is absolutely wonderful on that as well.
Well, that was, from my understanding, a lot of that insider trading happens the day of setup.
Absolutely. I think I did $1,200 on Friday, $2,600 for the weekend. So I did almost 50% of my sales the first day to just to dealers. Yep, absolutely. So this is going to be kind of a funny story over here. You may not have seen the live show a few weeks ago, but I had a situation where one of our subscribers is also works for a clean out company. And he gave me a call and said, hey, I got stuff to sell you, and you might be interested in this estate that we're cleaning out. I said, sounds great. So I drove out there. He sold me the stuff that he wanted to sell me, no problem at all. I go into the house to look around at the stuff for the estate clean out. And as I'm looking around, somebody shows up, and the guy comes in and goes, hi, I'm the executor. And I'm like, oh boy, okay. And this, the executor used to be a stockbroker. And his first words to me were, oh, you're the guy that's going to give me $1 million for everything. And I'm like, okay, we don't have a deal. I didn't say that, but I'm thinking in my head, this guy's not going to be easy to deal with. And then I heard him talking to my buddy, and he said, I want it all gone. All the paper stuff gone, the books, the magazines, all the paper stuff. He wants it all gone. He doesn't want me cherry picking, which is fair. Not a problem at all. So I walked around and I came up with a price in my head of $650. And I said, I can give you $650 for everything. And he goes, oh, I can get more than that. Because he had an estate sale company coming in. I can get more than that online. I'm like, okay. So no problem. So I just kind of was, set to leave. And he goes, I can let it all go for $1,200. And I go, no, thank you. Thank you for the offer. If you change your mind, reach out to me. I can give you $650. Well, I just got a text today from the estate sale company because I know who they are. And they basically said, yeah, we're in charge now. Come back out. We'll work a deal out. So we don't know what he was thinking. And the only thing I could think of is because of all his years negotiating for stocks and all that stuff, that he wanted to throw the $1,200. He was hoping I came back at $850. He ends up getting $900 for the estate. But I was pretty set. $650 was my top price. I wasn't. If he had come back at $750, I guess I probably would have went a little bit higher on everything. but it wasn't, at 1,200 was so high. I'm not coming back because, okay, I'll give you 700. Where are we going? We're not going anywhere. No. We're so far off. And I was happy because it was about an hour trip. I could not have got everything in my car. I could have gotten half the stuff in my car. So I would have had to make a drive home, drive back out there, fill it back up, drive back out. Now the beauty is, and I've talked to the estate sale company, I'm going to help them list the stuff that I don't want and tell them how to market it. And I said, I'm not going to cherry pick you. I'm going to take all of something that I'm interested in, and I'm not cherry picking. So like they have Stephen King books there. I'm interested in those, but I'm not going to just take the Stephen King books. I would either take all the hardcover books or none of them. Yet they can keep all the books. I'll tell them market it this way because I've got a good relationship with that company. So I don't want to burn. I'm going to burn that for a $20 book. Why? So I'll take all this stuff out of there. So I'll end up paying less money than $650, but get the stuff that I wanted and not have to take the other stuff and do it all in one trip. So it worked out beautifully as far as I'm concerned. And sometimes that happens.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned about the negotiating. And I did write a book called Everything is Negotiable. I think you might be able to get it on Amazon, on Kindle, maybe for free. I don't know for sure. It used to be that way, but you can go to my Linktree and just Bryan Goodman at Linktree or whatever. It's in there somewhere. But when I used to, for most of my adult life, I was in the used office furniture business. So you would get calls all the time. Hey, we're closing our office. We want to sell you this stuff. And you go in and you give them whatever the price was. Oh, no, we got it on, at the time it was probably Craigslist. We got it on Craigslist and, never mind. And then, of course, we'd given them a fair number. Yeah, right. Whatever, it was 1,000, 10,000, whatever it was. And then at the end of the month, they'd be calling frantic. Can you come buy the stuff now? Well, no, we can't buy it. We'll charge you to take it out of there.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it is in the commercial properties. They have to leave them clean. They have to have it all emptied out. And so, that's where the real panic sets in, when they realize that it's going to cost them money if they don't get it out. So.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. That's awesome. But yeah, so it's working out really, really well for me as far as that goes. So I'm happy about that.
No, that sounds like a good deal.
We were talking about AI. You have to definitely watch your AI though. eBay certainly uses AI when it comes to item specifics. And get this, I was listing a Fortune magazine from December 2018. Fortune magazine, December 2018. And the item specifics are brought up by AI. It tells you these are the item specifics you can use. You know what it said, Mr. Magazine?
What's that?
Signed by Angelina Jolie. She's not on the cover. She's not in the magazine. She has nothing to do with it, but their AI suggested I use that as an item specific.
Crazy.
And that's why you definitely got to check, because if I weren't checking, accept all, somebody buys it from me. This isn't signed by Angelina Jolie, who said it was. Why would it be? She's not even in the magazine to begin with.
No, you're so right, because as I'm doing listings, whether it's with AI, myself, or whatever, and you're taking something, oh yeah, this matches, whatever, and then you start going down. Wait a minute, this isn't so many times the item specifics that are proliferate are incorrect, and you just have to watch it. So it is helpful that it gives you the right category. It gives you.
Popeyes is busting your chops.
Yeah, Popeye. It's for you. It's 30. But so you just have to be so careful. Same thing's true if you're listing stuff for sale on Amazon. That I'll give you a good example. And fortunately, I've caught these when it's happened. But sometimes you find a book You scan it, the price is really good. Oh, I'm gonna resell this on Amazon. And then you go to list it and you realize that it's not for one book, it's for a set of 2 or 3 books, and you only have the one book. And people get burned by that all the time. All of a sudden you can see someone's negative feedback. I was supposed to get 3, and the seller is perfectly innocent. They didn't realize it.
Yep.
It's not that they're trying to pull a fast one, but the scanning shows that that's what it is. So you have to be very careful. What do they say? Measure twice, cut once, or what? Whatever that.
Well, I know Mr. Magazine has said in the past that there's a problem with things like Hot Wheels with the what's going on with that, Mr. Magazine?
They'll have series where the barcode's the same on the back, or even with Star Wars, sometimes with certain figures and so forth. If they do a series or whatever, and you got to be careful because, and my employees do this all the time. They'll scan it and think that's it, and it's not, and so definitely got to double check.
Yeah, so there'll be like Baja California, and there'll be 6 different cars as part of the series.
Yeah,
but it'll just bring one up, and they all have the same number on the back, because when the shop is selling them, Walmart's selling them, they don't care. They just need to know that a Baja California car is sold. They don't care that the Love Bug sold.
Right.
And so that's why it's like that. But when you just do the scan, well, if you don't have the Love Bug, you got the wrong one up as far as everybody's concerned.
Sure. And the same thing, you find that with old paperbacks. You scan the barcode on the back of the paperback, and it's not the right one. But if you all of a sudden it's, this is worth a lot of money, you get home and you realize it's not the right one. The trick on old paperbacks is, it's not always this way, but often the true barcode is on the inside cover. And you open that cover, you can scan that, and it'll be the book that it is. The back is sort of more generic for that publisher. So that's
like Harlequin Romance book, because that's all that the shop cares about. But the end of it is the specific. I'm going to give you a little tip as well. On the older, I'd say 1970 through about 72, maybe 69 through 72, they were rolling out the ISBN, but it didn't have the same number of digits. So you'll see an ISBN number in there that starts like with a 6. It'll say 69. If you put a 0 in front of it, 99 times out of 100, it'll work. So there we are. A little old timer tip for you there. Time for the item of the week.
All right.
Did you have one, Mr. Magazine?
One. So this is fresh. I picked it up maybe 3-4 hours ago with a bunch of other stuff. I ended up spending $3,000, but this is a highlight of it so far. Right. It comes with a letter of authenticity from PSA DNA. So that's
you disappeared. I like this.
Wow, this is good stuff.
I like this.
What do we do here? Show me a certificate.
There's the certificate.
So this is Beckett grading. Hold on. Closer. It's a Tiger Woods autographed, certified from PSA and Beckett Grading Services, and believe it or not, it goes for $1,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm doing a holiday show next month, and I'm trying to get a lot of
IMS. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not, the barter company.
No.
So yeah, we do it every mid-November usually, and I bring a lot of autograph stuff, and I'm the only guy there pretty much with autograph stuff. So we'll sell Josh Allen jerseys, a lot of Bill stuff. That's golf and Bill stuff is stuff that they love out there. So I figured this would be a perfect thing for it.
Yeah, IMS is it's a national barter company, and it's Mr. Magazine can use his credit because he'll sell that for credit that somebody else will use, and he can use his credit to whatever, get the alarm system redone at his shop or whatever, and so on. So it all you pay a little bit of a fee to the company.
Yeah.
Yep. Time for the Confucius joke of the week.
I thought for sure we would miss it. And by the way, I hope Laurel and Hardy can beat the crap out of Homer and Jethro.
Wow.
Or unfortunately, if Homer and Jethro talk, it's gonna make Laurel and Hardy's ears bleed. So I don't know who's gonna win. It can go either way. I think Laurel and Hardy has the power, but Homer and Jethro would make their ears bleed.
Homer and Jethro do play the guitar, so they can break it over.
Oh yeah, there you go. Props, yeah.
All right, are you familiar with Confucius?
Oh yeah.
Who's not? Who's not? No.
Donald, you and me both. I mean, it's crazy. We're almost there.
The groan is obligatory, right? I'm already practicing my groan.
Now this one might be funny.
All right.
Why does Confucius tiptoe past the medicine chest?
I don't know. Why does Confucius tiptoe past the medicine chest? See, I did it right.
You did. I'll tell you why Confucius tiptoes past the medicine chest. So as not to wake the sleeping pills.
I thought it was going to be someone with the tulips. Tiptoe through the two. Yeah, I do.
Sleeping pills because they're sleep. Oh. You're much more appreciative of these than he is.
Oh yeah.
Much more appreciative. And that was the Homer and Joe Confucius Say Joke of the Week. Come by 20 past the hour at any of my Whatnot shows. And you guys are all lining up to hear them, I'm sure. A couple of other quick things.
Unsubscribe.
A couple of other things, and we'll let our guests go. Heritage has a BCG, which is a Beckett grading 3 Mickey Mantle rookie card. Now, this usually a BCG 3 will go for about $50,000 nowadays. The estimate on this is $70,000. Do you know why? Either of you know why?
Did he sign it?
Some sort of error?
Nope. He was holding it in his hand at a 1990s card convention, and the person that owned the card took a picture of him. So there's a picture of Mickey Mantle holding it. It's picture match of him holding it. And so they think it's going to add about $20,000 in value.
Wow, that guy was smart, I guess. Wow.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep. So an extra 20 grand, but you get the photo, you get you also get the camera that it was that the picture was taken with.
Wow.
So it's going to add $20,000 on that.
What does it make him worth that he signed? Because he's holding it when he signs them. They should be worth $1 million.
Well, he didn't sign it.
I know. I'm saying if he has one that he signed, not only did he touch it, which brings it 20, 30 grand more, but he also signed it. Yeah. So that's a triple bamboozle there.
A couple of other things. Interesting thing coming up for Golden Auctions is going to have this. It's at $5,000 right now. Obviously, they expect it to go higher. A deck of cards that was owned by Houdini.
Wow.
It's a near complete set from 1890. They say it might be one of the first sets that he ever practiced on.
Wow.
So they expect it to go for about $5 grand. You ever find anything cool like that?
That's crazy, $5 grand.
What's that, $5 grand? Maybe go for 10.
Quite like that, no.
I mean, you can get a Mac Jones rookie for $10,000. I mean, it's crazy.
What's the best thing you ever found out there in your sourcing?
My wife. Oh.
Well, I did. I mean, I've told the story before. I used to drive a Saab many years ago and drove by a yard sale. There wasn't really anything there, but in the garage, they had these 4 tires, Saab tires that looked brand new with the, hubs, and I'm like, ooh, those are nice. And I'm looking around, they didn't have a Saab. I said, hey, what's with these? The car was brand new and got into an accident, and we saved the tires thinking we were getting a different car, but we don't need them. I said, well, how much you want? I said, well, make me an offer. And so I'm like, well, they don't really want them.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know, $50 for the set. She said, okay. And I said, I didn't even have $50 on me. I said, and my car was full. I said, listen, I got to go get some cash. And here's a deposit for it. I just got to go empty the car. I'll come back and pay you and take them. When I came back, she said, oh, here's a guy's card. If you can't use it, because I told him I was going to use it on my car, which was sort of a fib, but I might have. I said, here's his card. He's interested in the tires. If you can't use them. I said, okay. I sold them on eBay for $750.
Oh, yeah.
And shipped them to Montana, I think, of all places, which seemed odd for a Saab to be, but whatever. But no, I think some of the things that I did as far as like postcards, I bought a postcard a couple years ago at a show from a dealer for about $6, and I think I sold it for either $250 or $350. I'd have to look to remember.
Always nice.
Yeah, and that was a nice one. It was of a ventriloquist.
Oh,
and it was interesting. And the other one that, as far as a postcard that comes to mind, I bought a postcard at an online auction, not on eBay. I don't want to say where, for about $60, and sold it for $400 on eBay. And what's funny about it is it was a postcard from about, I think, 1911, 1913, whatever. But it was like a reward, looked like a reward poster that you'd see in a post office. But it was like something they would mail around to, I guess, different police entities or whatever. But it said wanted $300, and it gave the guy's name. So in my mind, I said, this would be cool if I could sell it for $300. And I did a little research. And I thought, I'm going to put it up for $400. So I listed it for $400. I got an offer maybe less than a week later for about $250, I think it was. And I said, I'll counter at $300, and he'll probably buy it. So I counter at $300, and the next thing I know, it's sold for the full price of $400.
That's always nice.
And he had sent me a note saying, hey, I know I gave you this low offer, but it's such a cool card for my collection. I paid you the full amount anyway. Yes. I don't think he ever saw my counter offer. I think it was just in that flux there and he was happy. He loved the postcard. So, you can find stuff. You gotta, it's hard to say exactly what to look for, especially like you go into Allentown and everybody's, oh, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? Well, there are some core things that I'm looking for, but there's a wide spectrum of things that I can see that, that if I can pick up for the right price, I know I can sell it for a good price. So
now, just between us,
yes.
Did you buy that from Popeyes at Whatnot? That poster? Just between us.
No.
Just say yes. Just say yes.
No, but I don't remember what I did buy something on Whatnot from Popeye that went for a lot of money, and I forget what it was, but it was something that I probably got 75 or 100 for. That one of these auctions where it was $25. Oh, wow. You know what? You're right. I know what it was. I sold it for $125. It was a locomotive, but it was some sort of strange train on Nantucket that was in a lot of train stuff that I bought from him for cheap money. And I got 125. And I already told you that. But the trick is that I did then put it into my saved searches on eBay and hoping to score another one. And one came up, and I bid high. I was bidding over $100 for the one on eBay, and I still didn't win it.
I was just going to ask if you sold it to a man from Nantucket.
I don't think he was from Nantucket. I'd have to look.
And the last thing I want to bring up here, and again, we do thank you for your time. Do you remember, and you may as well, Mr. Magazine, remember the old Nike shoe ads with Lil Penny?
Yep.
Lil Penny Hardaway?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was voiced by Chris Rock, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They're up for auction. The puppet is up for auction. The little puppet that they did. Their expectation was $30,000 is what they thought it would go for. It's already hit estimate with 18 days left. So who knows where that's going to end up going at.
That's worth way more than $5,000 like other things.
You know, it reminds me, despite the way the economy is for a lot of people, and there are severe problems throughout the country with job loss and all these crazy stuff. This ephemera seems to be stable all throughout stuff because there are collectors who are collecting. They're trying to finish something, and I don't typically cater to collectors. I'm more of an image guy. If I like the image and I think there's something savvy, something about it that makes it desirable, that's what I'm going after, right? So if somebody is looking for, cool Taylor Swift postcards, not that I have any, but that would be something that's more on my radar than, some, esoteric thing that Popeye knows about. I don't have his breadth of knowledge on every nuance of a postcard, or even, Matt, Jackass. Neither of them, both of them.
Hey, we don't have to get personal. It's Matt.
Only because I see them on the screen. But, you don't have to know everything. You just have to have a good sense. And over time, your experience will help you along the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. We want to thank our guest here. We went a little bit long, but hopefully that's all right. We had a lot of fun. We're definitely going to have you on again if at all possible.
You'll pay me more than double what you paid me this time.
I can get you a signed copy of a book by a big author, Mr. Bigfoot. I can get you a signed copy of that. So I know people. We'll be Random Neighborhood Kids coming by this weekend, and I'm finally going to get the Allentown Hall video up. So you definitely want to check that out. A lot of footage from the show and more from that also. Do hit the like button if you could. A lot of fun tonight, and we'll see you all next week. We have consignment chats on next week. So
nice.
So another fun show with another, three great guests. But
absolutely.
You're better than all three of them. Don't tell them I said that. All right. Thanks, everybody.
I'm going to try to make it to York. Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you guys for the invite. I appreciate it.
And thank you for coming on. We'll see y'all next week.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.